Oh, hey, didn't see you there. We're about to do Blast from Command. I guess I'm going to show you how to use this thing. It's a real nice RV, but she's got some quirks. Come on, I'll show you how to use it. Before we get started, let's go get the keys. They're at the sheriff's command post over there. And once you have your keys, the only two you need are these two. One says rear lock, one says front lock. So you were going to use the top one only. We don't mess with the bottom one. Put it in. Once it's unlocked, the steps should pop out. And both of them have this thing that you can put in here so the door won't blow around. If you want to use a screen door, push this button. You can just get some of that fine blossom breeze. Okay, the back one says rear lock. Go over here. It's best to open both up just to get some air moving while you get set up. This one's broke, so that one just stays open. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is where the power is. So this thing has an extension cord that goes from the back corner over the breakers, and that's usually the biggest problem people have, is the breaker trips in two different spots. Come on over. Okay, the cord comes over and goes in here. This is a GFCI outlet, so sometimes if there's ice trucks here or coolers, they might unplug you and plug theirs in, so you have to see which one you're plugged into. It does change from time to time. This is red, blue, and I'm not sure what one this is, but it has its own circuit as well. So the big thing is if you turn on both air conditioners, which I'll go on, you'll trip this breaker. And you may trip this GFCI, or you may trip the breaker in here. So the way to test it is make sure it's on first of all, and if you come over to the GFCI, you unplug it. If you click the test button, you should hear a click. Then when you hit the reset button, you should also hear a click. If you hear the click when you hit the reset, then you have power. I'm going to turn the breaker off. Now I hit the test button, I hear a click. I hit the reset button, and no click. So that tells me there's no power going to this GFCI. So now I got this breaker tripped. So I turn that on. Now I come over to here, hit the reset button. I hear a click. So now I got power here. So from this point, you can plug it in, go back to the RV. If you had both air conditioners on and tripped it, as soon as you plugged it in, it's going to trip again. So my advice is restart once you reset this, turn everything off at the RV, come over, reset it, and then restart your program. All right, we'll go to the RV. Okay, so now we come inside, and everything is off in the off position. So as long as the last person that used it shut everything off, this is how you'd start. So this switch here, auxiliary battery, on, off, this is only for the interior lights. So if you hit that to on, some lights will come on, and this interior lights here, you hit that and turn it on. So this also runs on the batteries, so if the breaker tripped, this still may work. And when I turn it off, you'll hear a click. That's the master on and off. So turn that on. And you can also turn this on to charge the batteries while you're here. I wouldn't leave it on, but this will charge the batteries. If you're having problems with the breaker tripping, turn that off, especially if you're running the air. Okay, so now we got the lights on. All the lights also have on-offs locally on them. There's switches that will turn off the lights at themselves, and that's throughout the RV, all the fluorescent lights. The less you use, the more likely you'll be to not trip a breaker. So for the breakers, all these breakers are for the air conditioning and the outlets. They have nothing to do with lights. So first, for the air conditioner, turn your main on, and you can turn your front air on if you're going to use it. If you're going to be in the back, turn the rear air on. Okay, for this one, only if you're using the back do you need this one, rear room TV outlets. Turn the main on, and then turn that on, and now the plugs in the back will work. Other than that, if you're not back there, you don't need it. Okay, with these air conditioners, you want to pick the front or back, and when I say front or back, it's by this door. So you can undo this thing. I would close it, pick what side you're going to be on for the night. And then the other thing is, these vents, if you turned on the front air, they're all connected. So if you're going to stay up here, I would come in the back and close all these vents in the ceiling, and you'll keep more air up front. So let's say I'm staying in the front, closing all the back. I'm going to close the door because it's going to be hot in the summer. And I'll come over to this. Then you're going to want to leave fan all the way up, which is auto. And then it's set on off. So at the end of the night, if we put everything to off, it'll make it easier for the next person. And then I slide up to cool. And it kicked on. So now I got air coming out of these. And I would even close the door behind the camera and close the vents up front by the drivers because you want to keep all the air in here. This is going to get hot. So then, if I wanted to use, if I was going to stay in the back and not up here, or at the end of the night, put the system back to off, which is one up from the bottom. Now the front air is off. And over here, here's the rear air. So same thing. The fan is on auto. Here's your thermostat gauge, but it's just going to be running the whole time. The system is on off. So I'll slide that up to cool. And now you have to do the opposite. Back here, I would open these vents and close all the vents in the front. Because if these are open, some of the air is going to start leaking. You'll blast it back here. I personally think back here is better, so you got a table. And there's an outlet right here, and you can see out with the door. These stairs don't work, but here's the outlet. We can plug a cell phone or a radio in if you need it. All right, now we're operational. And the same thing, the lights are up here. Oh, there's an interior light switch here for the back. We'll turn that on, and then you can turn the lights on at the fixtures. It's like a master. The light switch here for the back is over here. The biggest thing you can't do is run both air conditioners. You'll trip the breaker for sure. Okay, for the end of the night, to close down, you turn off the interior lights here. If you were in the back, you'll put the system to off, and the fan you didn't touch, so that's still on auto. Now we'll say you didn't use that and you're up here, and here you would turn off this system, turn it off, and again, fan is just still on auto at the top. Okay, and then we'll come over here. Easiest way is open up both and turn everything off. Done. Make sure this is on off. And the biggest thing, just turn this to off. Now everything's off. You can turn this light off if you want, but it doesn't matter. These are the scene lights outside. We don't use those. Unless you were going to light up out there. Okay, at the end of the night, we'll use the same two keys. The little one's labeled with red tape. The top lock only, so you'll take the front one, unhook it. Make sure it's locked. And we'll go to the rear with the rear key. This screen door is kind of in the way, so you gotta slam it and then push on it. Turn it to the left, and then try it. It's locked. Okay, then we'll take the keys back to the command post. Next time this trailer will be used will be for the next Blossom thing, not a SWAT call out, so they don't really do much.